cannot believe it. This can't be true. This can't be true. It's a monstrous case because it's the own father who did this to his daughter, to his own flesh and blood.
Let me tell you about one of the most shocking true crime cases ever recorded. The entire case that I'm going to talk about today. When the truth came out, the police staff initially thought it was a lie. The police felt like someone was telling them the plot of a very bad horror movie, but as all the evidence regarding this case started coming out, the entire media, along with the police, was shocked. Meet Josef Fritzl, a man who was once highly respected in his community. To everyone around him, he seemed like a normal, even honorable individual. But behind closed doors, Josef was hiding a secret so dark and twisted that it would shake the very foundation of humanity.
Neighbors were saying, oh, such a nice man, such a nice woman, and they were so nice with their grandchildren. And then you find out something like that.
Josef lived with his wife, Rosemary, and they had 7 children. One of these children was Elisabeth, a young woman who seemed different from the rest. She and Josef never got along. Their relationship was filled with tension and constant arguments. The atmosphere at home was always tense, but no one could have guessed the horrifying truth behind it all. Then, one day, Elisabeth vanished. Josef told Rosemary that Elisabeth had run away to join a cult and wouldn't be coming back. This story seemed strange, but Rosemary believed it. But what if I told you that Elisabeth never actually left the house? That she was right there, beneath their feet, trapped in a secret underground bunker? You see, Josef was obsessed with the idea of building a bunker. Beneath his house there was a cellar, and under that cellar he had constructed a hidden chamber, a secret space that no one knew about. Josef lured Elisabeth into this bunker one day, saying he needed her help fixing a door. But as soon as they were alone, he grabbed a cloth soaked in chemicals and held it over her mouth until she lost consciousness. When Elisabeth woke up, she found herself in a dark, cramped room with no windows, no sunlight, and no way out. The bunker was more like a prison, with tiny rooms that felt like cages. Imagine a place where the ceiling is so low that you have to hunch over just to stand, where there is no fresh air, and where the darkness feels like it could swallow you whole. This is where Elisabeth was forced to live for years, hidden from the world. But the story doesn't end there. The real horror was yet to unfold. Josef began to regularly visit the bunker, but not to check on Elisabeth's well-being. No, he had far more sinister intentions. He repeatedly assaulted Elisabeth over and over for years. As a result, Elisabeth became pregnant, not once, but multiple times. Imagine being trapped in a dark, airless chamber and giving birth alone. Elisabeth did just that. She gave birth to her children in that terrible place. There were no doctors, no nurses, just Elisabeth and the children who were born into this living nightmare. One child after another was born and raised in that dark, underground prison, never seeing the light of day, never knowing that a whole world existed beyond those walls. But Josef didn't keep all of the children below ground. When one of the children was born, he took the baby, placed it in a box, and left it outside his house. He told Rosemary that Elisabeth had left the baby there, claiming it was the child she had after running away to the cult. Rosemary believed him and began raising the child as her own. This happened not once, not twice, but 3 times. 3 children lived above ground, in what they thought was a normal family, while 3 others were trapped below. For years, Elisabeth and her underground children suffered in silence, until one day, one of the children, Christine, became gravely ill. Desperate to save her daughter, Elisabeth begged Josef to take Christine to the hospital. At first he refused, but then, for reasons known only to him, he agreed. He took Christine to the hospital, but the girl was in such a terrible state that the doctors immediately knew something was wrong. Christine was severely malnourished and suffering from a vitamin D deficiency so severe that her skin was ghostly white. The doctors needed to know Christine's medical history to treat her, but Josef's story didn't add up. He repeated the lie about Elisabeth running away to join a cult, but the doctors were skeptical. They alerted the authorities, and soon the media got involved. Christine's photo was plastered everywhere, and the call went out. If anyone knew Elisabeth or where she was, they needed to come forward for Christine's sake. In a twist of fate, Josef had installed a television in the bunker, and one day Elisabeth saw her own face on the news. She realized the world was looking for her, and knew this might be her only chance to save her daughter. She pleaded with Josef, begging him to let her go to the hospital. Surprisingly, he agreed, but only on the condition that she stick to the story about the cult. With no other choice, Elisabeth agreed. When she arrived at the hospital, the police were waiting. They immediately took her into custody, believing she had abandoned her children. But once they spoke to her privately, the shocking truth came out. Josef Fritzl was arrested, and the horrifying reality of what had been happening for over 2 decades came to light. Psychologists who studied the case later said that Josef's twisted actions were a way to control and possess Elisabeth completely. By keeping her and her children hidden away, he ensured that they were his and his alone, to do with as he pleased. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel for more content, give it a thumbs up, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement is crucial in building a community. I'm signing off for now. Until next time. Goodbye.